My chosen one, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary. On May 1st, something shifts in the spiritual realm, and Archangel Michael is speaking directly to you. This message is your final call from heaven. Open it now, because the window of delay is closing faster than you think. You did not find this by accident. You did not click on this randomly. There is a reason your eyes are on this screen at this exact time. Heaven calculated this moment long before you felt the weight you are carrying today. And now, Archangel Michael stands in the gap, delivering a message that was sealed until this very hour. May 1st is not just another date on the calendar. It is a spiritual marker, a dividing line between what was and what will be. For weeks, you have felt a strange pressure in your spirit, a restlessness, a sense that something is about to break, either for you or against you. That feeling was not anxiety. It was a signal. Archangel Michael says there has been a battle over your destiny. Decisions you thought were small were being watched in the unseen realm. Conversations you brushed off carried weight. Even your silence spoke louder than you realize. And now, heaven is making one final appeal before the next phase begins. This is your final call from heaven. Not a threat, not fear, but urgency. There are doors that have been held open for you by divine mercy. Opportunities that were preserved when you thought you lost them. Protection that surrounded you when you did not even pray for it. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard the path that was meant for you. But protection will not replace participation. You must respond. On May 1st, alignment becomes critical. There is a decision forming in your life right now. You feel it. You know it. It may be about a relationship, a move, a commitment, or a hidden habit you keep justifying. Heaven is saying this is the moment to choose correctly, because after May 1st, the season shifts. Archangel Michael is not speaking to scare you. He is speaking to wake you up. You have been postponing obedience. You have been telling yourself, I will change next month. I will pray more next week. I will forgive when I feel stronger. But heaven does not measure time the way you do. There are appointed moments, divine appointments, and missing them create cycles that take longer to break. This is why this message feels intense. Because it is. Archangel Michael says there has been interference around your focus. Distractions disguised as opportunities. Voices disguised as advice. Even fatigue that seems physical but has spiritual roots. The enemy tried to exhaust you before this date arrived. Tried to make you numb so you would ignore this call. But you are still here. You are still watching. That means something inside you is still responsive to heaven. On May 1st, a trumpet of decision sounds in the unseen realm. It will not be audible to your ears, but your spirit will feel it. There will be clarity, a sudden understanding, and strong push to either step forward or step away. Do not ignore that nudge. That is confirmation. This message is your final call from heaven because delay is no longer safe. There are blessings prepared for you that cannot coexist with certain behaviors. There are breakthroughs that require you to close old doors. Archangel Michael says the sword he carries is not only for defense but for separation. Separation from what weakens you. Separation from what drains your purpose. May 1st marks a crossing point. Some people around you will not understand the change you are about to make. They may question you. They may even resist you. But remember this. Obedience often looks strange before it looks wise. Archangel Michael is calling you into courage. You have been asking for a sign. This is it. You have been asking for confirmation. This is it. You have been asking if heaven still sees you. It does. There is a specific area in your life where you already know what you must do. You keep replaying it in your mind. You keep negotiating with yourself. But deep down, the answer has been clear. On May 1st, that clarity becomes unavoidable. Do not harden your heart. Because after this date, momentum begins. Either momentum toward your calling or momentum away from it. There is no neutral ground anymore. Archangel Michael says this is the final call before acceleration. And here is the mystery. The very thing you fear losing may be the key to what you have been praying to receive. Let that sink in. What if the release you are resisting is the doorway to the freedom you cry for at night? Heaven is not trying to take from you. Heaven is trying to position you. May 1st is not about loss. It is about alignment. But alignment requires surrender. Right now, pause and ask yourself, if this truly is a final call from heaven, what must I stop delaying? What must I confront? What must I release? Because Archangel Michael is speaking directly to you, not to the crowd, not to the masses, to you. And this message is open. The question is, will you respond? Beloved soul, something is intensifying as May 1st approaches, and you can feel it in ways you cannot fully explain. The air around your life feels charged. Small situations are becoming unusually emotional. Minor decisions suddenly feel heavy. This is not coincidence. Archangel Michael is revealing that when heaven prepares to shift a season, the atmosphere around a chosen person begins to tremble before the actual moment arrives. You may have noticed unusual dreams, repeated thoughts, or even people from your past resurfacing without warning. Pay attention. These are not random disturbances. They are signals. When a final call from heaven is released, everything unresolved tries to rise one last time. Old fears resurface. Doubts whisper louder. Temptations appear more attractive. It is a last attempt to pull you back into delay. Archangel Michael says this is the final resistance before breakthrough. There has been a silent war over your obedience. You thought you were just battling mood swings or confusion. But behind the scenes, your yes to God has been contested. Because your obedience will unlock something larger than you realize. It will affect your family line. It will shift the atmosphere of your home. It will close generational cycles that have been repeating for years. And that is why this message feels urgent. On May 1st, heaven will measure your response, not your perfection. You do not need to be flawless. You need to be willing. The enemy tries to convince you that you must clean yourself up completely before stepping forward. But Archangel Michael is saying the step itself activates the cleansing. Movement invites grace. There is also something else you must understand. This final call is not only about removing something. It is also about receiving something. A new assignment. A new responsibility. A new level of spiritual authority. But authority cannot rest on hesitation. It requires conviction. Right now, you are standing at a spiritual crossroads. One path looks familiar, comfortable, predictable. The other path feels uncertain but carries peace deep inside. That peace is your confirmation. Archangel Michael says peace is heaven's signature. If it brings deep peace, even if it scares your logic, is aligned. You not ignore the peace. You have been asking God to use you, to elevate you, to reveal your purpose. But elevation requires pruning. And pruning always feels like loss before it feels like growth. On May 1st, pruning becomes unavoidable. The question is whether you will cooperate or resist. Listen carefully. There are conversations you must have. There are habits you must break. There are boundaries you must set. If you delay again, you will feel the weight of missed timing. Not because heaven is punishing you, but because seasons move forward whether you do or not. Archangel Michael stands with his sword not to harm you, but to defend the future you cannot yet see. But he cannot force your choice. Free will is sacred. That is why this message is direct. This is your final call from heaven. You might feel unworthy of such attention. You might think, why would heaven send a message specifically to me? But that thought itself reveals your humility, and humility attracts divine guidance. The very fact that this message touches your heart confirms you are not invisible. Before we go deeper, take a moment to engage with this message. Like this video so the algorithm pushes this warning to others who are standing at their own crossroads. Share it with someone who has been restless lately. Comment what you feel stirring inside you right now. When you interact, you are not just supporting a channel. You are amplifying a call that someone else desperately needs to hear. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe and become part of this growing army that listens when heaven speaks. Join the membership if you feel led, because together we strengthen the reach of these messages. Now hear this clearly. The enemy hoped you would scroll past this. He hoped distraction would win. But you are still here. That means something is anchoring you. Something is resonating deeply. As May 1st arrives, there will be a moment of decision that feels ordinary on the outside but eternal in impact. It may be a simple no when you usually say yes. It may be a courageous confession. It may be deleting something, ending something, beginning something. And when you act, you will feel a shift almost instantly. Hold on, because what is about to unfold in the next revelation will expose why this date has been circled in the spirit realm long before you were born. The deeper reason may shock you. Faithful warrior, what I am about to reveal carries weight, so receive it with an open spirit. The reason May 1st has been circled in the unseen realm is not only about your personal decision. It is about timing that has been orchestrated long before you understood your own name. Archangel Michael says this date is a hinge between cycles, a hinge between bondage and release, a hinge between silence and announcement. There has been a pattern operating in your life. You may have noticed it if you look closely. Every time you approach growth, something interrupts you. Every time you get close to stability, chaos knocks at the door. Every time you begin to feel confident, doubt creeps in from nowhere. This is not random misfortune. It is a cycle that has tried to define you. But heaven has marked May 1st as the expiration of that cycle. Archangel Michael says that in the spiritual realm, patterns have legal grounds only when agreement continues. And sometimes agreement does not look like active rebellion. Sometimes it looks like passive tolerance. You tolerated what drained you. You tolerated what disrespected your calling. You tolerated inner narratives that told you to stay small. That tolerance gave the cycle permission to remain. This is why this message is your final call from heaven. On May 1st, permission expires if you withdraw your agreement. Read that again in your spirit. Permission expires when you withdraw agreement. The enemy cannot force what you refuse to host. The moment you say, "This pattern ends with me," something breaks. And Archangel Michael stands ready to enforce what you declare. There is also something else you must understand. The resistance you felt was proportional to the reward attached to your obedience. The greater the assignment, the stronger the opposition. If your calling were small, the battle would have been small. But the intensity you have faced reveals the magnitude of what is waiting. You are not crazy for feeling targeted. You were targeted because you are marked. Marked for impact. Marked for influence. Marked for restoration. But marking requires maturity. Heaven is not interested in giving you something that will destroy you. So the pruning, the delay, the pressure, all served a purpose. They exposed weaknesses that needed strengthening. They revealed attachments that needed cutting. And now, as May 1st arrives, you are not the same person you were months ago. You are sharper. You are more aware. You are less easily deceived. Archangel Michael says this final call is about ownership. Ownership of your authority. Ownership of your voice. Ownership of your boundaries. You have been waiting for someone else to validate you. Waiting for a sign so obvious that doubt would disappear completely. But faith has always required a step before full clarity. This is your step. On May 1st, declare what will no longer continue. Speak it in prayer. Write it down. Make it known in the spiritual realm that your agreement with limitation is over. Because when you speak, heaven responds. Archangel Michael moves when alignment is declared. There may be people who feel the shift in you and react negatively. Do not be shaken. When cycles break, those who benefited from your silence often become uncomfortable. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your obedience is. The final call from heaven is not about fear of punishment. It is about fear of missing your appointed hour. Moments like this do not repeat easily. There are divine windows that open and close with precision. And this is one of them. You have asked for change. You have prayed for deliverance. You have cried for direction. This is the answer. It may not look dramatic on the outside. There may be no thunder in the sky. But in the unseen realm, this decision echoes loudly. Archangel Michael says courage in this hour will create acceleration in the next season. What felt stuck will begin to move. What felt blocked will find pathways. What felt delayed will gain speed. But it begins with your response. Right now, I want you to do something symbolic. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, I withdraw my agreement with every cycle not sent by God. Feel that. Mean that. Because heaven honors intentional words. This is not entertainment. This is alignment. And if this is speaking directly to your spirit, if you feel something shifting as you listen, then respond in faith. Type I break the cycle in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 1441 has just been released over your life. Now hear this final layer. When you choose alignment on May 1st, you are not only changing your own story, you are creating a ripple that will touch people you may never meet. Obedience is contagious. Courage inspires courage. Freedom multiplies freedom. And as this revelation settles in your heart, understand this. Spreading messages like this is part of that ripple. When you sow into the work that carries God's voice to others, you become a partner in their breakthrough. The scripture declares, Give, and it shall be given unto you, not as a transaction, but as a divine flow. When you release, heaven releases. Right now, I sense some of you feeling stirred to act. I hear you saying within, I want to be part of what God is doing. That desire is not random. It is invitation. When you give through super thanks, when you join as a member, or when you sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a platform. You are fueling a harvest of souls who are waiting for their final call. As you sow, may oil favor rest upon your home. May doors open that no man can shut. May the same courage you activate here return to you multiplied. Do not hesitate. Move as the Spirit nudges you. Seal your obedience with action, and watch how heaven responds. Your cycle ends here. Your new chapter begins now. Precious one, now that you have withdrawn your agreement with the old cycle, something subtle but powerful begins to happen within you. You may not see fireworks. You may not hear thunder. But there will be a quiet strengthening in your spirit. Archangel Michael says the strengthening is the evidence that heaven has acknowledged your decision. When a cycle breaks, there is often a moment of silence, a strange calm. Do not mistake that calm for nothing happening. In the unseen realm, adjustments are being made. Contracts that were built on your tolerance are dissolving. Patterns that fed on your hesitation are weakening. And forces that once felt bold around you are beginning to retreat. But listen carefully. After a final call is answered, there is often a final test. This test is not meant to make you fail. It is meant to confirm your seriousness. You may find that the very thing you declared freedom from tries to present itself once more. An old habit may knock gently. A familiar voice may reach out. A comfortable distraction may invite you back in. This is the echo of the old cycle, not its authority. Archangel Michael says the echo only has power if you respond. Do not be surprised if the days around May 1st feel emotionally intense. When spiritual shifts occur, emotions sometimes rise to the surface. You might feel vulnerable. You might feel exposed. You might even question your own strength. That is normal. Growth stretches you beyond what feels stable. But you are not alone in this stretching. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over the threshold you are crossing. He is not distant. He is assigned. When you feel unsure, whisper a simple prayer for courage. When doubt tries to cloud your clarity, declare what you already decided. Reinforce your alignment with words. There is authority in spoken conviction. There is also something deeper happening that you must understand. This final call from heaven is not only about removing negativity. It is about positioning you for responsibility. Responsibility requires discipline. Responsibility requires consistency. And heaven is preparing you to carry something that demands both. You have asked for elevation. Elevation changes your view. It allows you to see further. But it also exposes you to winds you did not feel at lower levels. That is why inner stability matters now more than ever. Your foundation must be firm. Archangel Michael says the foundation is built in private long before it is visible in public. What you choose in secret determines what you sustain in the open. On May 1st, your private decision becomes the seed of your public testimony. Months from now, you will look back at this date and realize it marked the turning point. There may be people who do not notice your shift immediately. That is fine. Not every transformation announces itself loudly. Some of the most powerful changes happen quietly. What you will know. You will feel a new firmness in your boundaries. A new sharpness in your discernment. A new refusal to entertain what once drained you. Do not shrink back from this new version of yourself. Growth can feel unfamiliar. You may even miss certain comforts of your old patterns. But comfort is not the same as calling. Familiarity is not the same as favor. Archangel Michael says you were not created to remain in cycles that limit your reach. And here is something that may surprise you. As you step into alignment, new opportunities will begin to appear. Invitations you did not expect. Conversations that open doors. Ideas that feel inspired. This is not coincidence. When you shift internally, your external environment begins to respond. But discernment is still required. Not every opportunity is assignment. Not every open door is yours to walk through. This is why prayer remains essential. Ask for clarity before committing. Ask for confirmation before agreeing. Peace will guide you. If there is inner turbulence that does not settle, pause. Remember, this is your final call before acceleration. Acceleration without direction leads to exhaustion, but acceleration with alignment leads to fulfillment. There is also healing attached to this moment. Emotional wounds that have lingered quietly will begin to surface for closure. You may suddenly realize you are no longer triggered by something that once controlled your mood. That is growth. That is evidence. That is freedom taking root. Archangel Michael says, do not underestimate small victories. Every resisted temptation, every honest conversation, every disciplined choice is building spiritual momentum. Momentum compounds. It multiplies. It gathers strength over time. And here is the promise. What you choose now will echo beyond this month. It will influence the next season of your life in ways you cannot yet measure. You are standing in a gateway moment. So stand firm. When doubt whispers, remember why you decided. When pressure rises, remember who guards you. When fear suggests retreat, remember that heaven would not issue a final call unless you were ready to answer it. You are not fragile. You are forged. May 1st is not the end of something meaningful. It is the beginning of something purposeful. And Archangel Michael is not merely observing your response. He is reinforcing it. Stay steady. Stay aligned. What unfolds next will reveal why this call was necessary in the first place. Brave heart, as the days unfold after your decision, you may begin to notice something unusual. The noise that once surrounded your mind starts to quiet down. Thoughts that used to race now slow into clarity. Archangel Michael says this is the sound of alignment settling into your spirit. When heaven's will and your will begin to agree, confusion loses its grip. But do not misinterpret peace as the absence of challenge. There will still be moments that test your resolve. The difference now is that you are not facing them as the same person. Something inside you has shifted. There is a deeper awareness, a sharper sensitivity to what feels right and what feels wrong. This is spiritual maturity activating. For a long time, you relied on external signs to make decisions. You looked for validation in people's reactions. You searched for reassurance in circumstances. But now, heaven is training you to recognize internal conviction. Archangel Michael says the strongest guidance often comes as a quiet knowing rather than a loud sign. Trust the knowing. There is a reason this message was called your final call from heaven. It is because indecision had been delaying more than you realized. Some blessings were waiting on your clarity. Some doors were paused, not closed. And now that you have stepped forward, movement has resumed. You might notice sudden solutions to problems that felt stuck. You might receive unexpected encouragement. You might feel creative ideas rising in you that were dormant before. These are signs that spiritual traffic has shifted. Resistance weakens when alignment strengthens. But here is where many people stumble. After making a bold decision, they slowly drift back into compromise because nothing dramatic happened immediately. Do not fall into that trap. Not every breakthrough announces itself loudly. Some changes unfold like sunrise. Quiet. Gradual. Steady. Archangel Michael says consistency will guard your breakthrough. What you do daily matters now more than ever. Guard your thoughts. Guard your words. Guard your environment. You cannot withdraw agreement from old cycles and then casually entertain the same influences. Protection requires participation. There may also be a surprising wave of emotion. You might grieve what you released. even if it was unhealthy. That grief does not mean you made the wrong choice. It simply means you are human. Let yourself process without retreating. Healing sometimes feels like loss before it feels like liberation. Remember, this shift is not only about you. Your obedience has ripple effects. The atmosphere around you begins to change. People may comment that you seem different. They may not know why, but they will sense it. Your energy will feel steadier. Your boundaries firm. Your presence clear. Archangel Michael says clarity intimidates confusion. When you know who you are and what you stand for, chaos has less access. That is why this final call was urgent. Indecision left small openings. Clarity closes them. There is also preparation happening for something ahead. You may not yet see the full picture, but you are being positioned for responsibility. It could be leadership in a small circle. It could be influence in a larger space. It could be restoration within your family. Whatever it is, it requires the version of you that chose alignment. Do not underestimate how heaven uses ordinary days. Not every assignment begins with applause. Some begin with small acts of integrity. Showing up when you do not feel like it. Speaking truth gently. Refusing to gossip. Praying when no one sees. These quiet disciplines are building strength within you. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that courage is not always loud. Sometimes courage is simply consistency. Sometimes courage is choosing again what you already decided, even when emotions fluctuate. And emotions will fluctuate. There will be mornings when you feel powerful and evenings when you feel uncertain. That is normal. What matters is not the fluctuation, but the foundation. You have established your foundation through your decision. Stand on it. The enemy may attempt subtle discouragement. Thoughts like, "It's not working," or "nothing has changed," may drift through your mind. Recognize them for what they are. Echoes, not authority. You already withdrew agreement. Do not reissue it through doubt. Something is growing beneath the surface. Think of a seed planted in soil. For a while, nothing is visible. But beneath the ground, roots are spreading. Strength is forming. Structure is developing. When the plant finally breaks through the surface, it stands because of what happened unseen. Your decision on May 1st was a seed. Archangel Michael says the roots are forming now. Stability is taking shape. And soon, visible signs will follow. Do not rush the process. Do not dig up the seed by questioning it daily. Water it with faith. Guard it with discipline. Trust it with patience. You were not given a final call to remain stagnant. You were called to rise. And as you continue forward, the next layer of revelation will show you why the battle over this date was so intense. The reason goes deeper than personal freedom. It touches legacy. It touches influence. It touches generations. Stay attentive. What unfolds next will expand your understanding even further. Steadfast soul, now we step into a deeper layer of what May 1st has truly activated in your life. What felt like a personal breakthrough is actually the beginning of a generational shift. Archangel Michael says the battle was never just about your comfort. It was about your bloodline. It was about patterns that traveled through family history, silently shaping choices, fears, and limits. You may have noticed certain struggles repeating among relatives. The same financial strain. The same relationship breakdowns. The same emotional wounds passed down like inheritance. You once thought, "That's just how our family is." But heaven does not accept dysfunction as destiny. On May 1st, when you withdrew your agreement with old cycles, you disrupted more than your own path. You interrupted a chain. Archangel Michael says chains break at the weakest link, and humility makes you stronger than pride ever could. You were willing to listen. You were willing to confront. You were willing to change. That willingness made you the turning point. But when generational patterns are challenged, resistance can intensify temporarily. You may feel pressure from those who are comfortable with the old ways. They may not consciously understand what is happening, but they will sense your shift. Some will admire it quietly. Others may question it openly. Stand firm. You are not dishonoring your past by choosing differently. You are redeeming it. You are honoring the parts of your lineage that long for freedom, but never found the courage to claim it. Archangel Michael says heaven respects the one who says, "It ends with me." There is also healing attached to this stage. As you step into alignment, memories may surface. Old conversations, childhood experiences, moments that shape your fears. Do not run from them. They are surfacing to be healed, not to haunt you. Forgiveness will be key now. Not because others always deserved it, but because you deserve peace. Carrying resentment keeps you tied to the very cycle you broke. Release does not mean approval. It means freedom. This is why the final call from heaven carried urgency. If you had delayed again, the pattern would have quietly continued into another season. But you responded. And now the atmosphere is different. You may begin to notice unexpected favor. Small victories that feel symbolic. A bill handled with ease. A conflict resolved peacefully. A door opening without force. These are not random blessings. They are confirmations that alignment invites assistance. Archangel Michael says, when one person in a family shifts spiritually, unseen protection increases around them. You may not always feel it, but it surrounds you. In moments when you could have made a destructive choice, something will restrain you. In situations that could have escalated, peace will intervene. However, do not grow passive. Spiritual authority grows through engagement. Pray intentionally. Speak life intentionally. Build habits that reinforce your new direction. Read words that strengthen your mind. Surround yourself with voices that elevate, not drain. And let me pause here to say something important. If this message is opening your eyes, if you feel it connecting dots you never understood before, then interact with it. Like this video so others trapped in silent generational battles can find it. Share it with someone who feels stuck in repeating patterns. Comment what cycle you believe is ending in your life. Your engagement does more than support a channel. It expands the reach of a divine interruption. Subscribe if you have not already, because messages like this are not accidents. They are assignments. Join the membership if you feel led to stand consistently in this space. When you partner here, you are helping extend this light into homes that desperately need clarity. And trust me, what is coming next will reveal even more about why your obedience matters far beyond what you can currently see. Now listen carefully. There is a legacy attached to your name that has not yet manifested. Archangel Michael says the enemy tried to wear you down early so you would settle for survival instead of purpose. But survival is not your ceiling. Influence is. Influence does not always mean fame. Sometimes it means stability. Sometimes it means being the first in your family to build something lasting. Sometimes it means raising children differently, loving differently, making money differently, thinking differently. And it begins with awareness. You are becoming aware that you are not a victim of history. You are a participant in shaping the future. That awareness is powerful. Your day. The days following this shift may feel like recalibration. Your routines may adjust. Your priorities may rearrange. That is natural. When identity changes, habits follow. Archangel Michael says, do not fear the unfamiliar territory ahead. You are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into preparation. Every aligned decision builds capacity, and capacity prepares you for expansion. The final call from heaven was not about pressure. It was about positioning. And now that you are positioned, momentum will begin to build in ways that surprise you. Hold steady. What is unfolding next will reveal how this generational shift connects to a larger assignment that reaches beyond your household and into spaces you have not yet imagined. Chosen vessel, what is unfolding now goes beyond personal growth and even beyond generational healing. Archangel Michael says you are entering a phase of spiritual visibility. Not necessarily public fame, but spiritual recognition. In the unseen realm, your name is being associated with obedience, and that carries weight. When a person responds to a final call from heaven, their spiritual identity sharpens. Before, you were learning. Now, you are becoming established. Before, you were surviving. And now, you are being entrusted. This transition may feel subtle, but its impact is profound. You may begin to sense a stronger intuition about people and situations. Conversations will reveal more than words. You will perceive intentions beneath surface behavior. This is discernment increasing. Archangel Michael says discernment is a gift given to those who choose alignment consistently. But with discernment comes responsibility. You must guard against pride. The moment you think, I am above deception, you create vulnerability. Stay humble. Stay teachable. Stay aware that growth is ongoing. There is also a calling forming around you that you have not fully recognized yet. You may have always felt slightly different from those around you, as if you saw things others ignored, as if you carried questions others avoided. A difference was not isolation. It was preparation. Archangel Michael says you were shaped through pressure so you could recognize pressure in others. You were tested so you could guide others through testing. The very struggles you wished away are becoming tools in your hands. Do not rush this realization. Let it settle. There will be moments when someone seeks your advice unexpectedly. A friend may open up about something deeply personal. A coworker may confide in you. A family member may ask how you changed. When that happens, speak with wisdom. Do not exaggerate your strength. Share honestly. Share gently. Your story carries authority because it cost you something. The enemy once tried to silence you through insecurity. The thoughts like, who are you to speak, may have haunted you. But Archangel Michael says your credibility comes from transformation, not perfection. You do not speak because you have no scars. You speak because your scars no longer control you. This is spiritual visibility. However, there is also increased sensitivity at this stage. You may feel drained by certain environments more quickly than before. Crowds may feel heavier. Negative conversations may irritate you faster. This is not weakness. It is awareness. Your spirit is less tolerant of what conflicts with your alignment. Choose your spaces wisely. Protect your energy without becoming distant. Set boundaries without becoming cold. It is possible to be compassionate without being consumed. There is another layer to understand. When heaven elevates someone's influence, subtle opposition can attempt to re-enter through new doors. This time it may not look like old habits. It may look like distraction through busyness, overcommitment, trying to prove your worth through constant activity. Archangel Michael warns against unnecessary striving. You do not need to force what God is orchestrating. Rest is part of discipline. Silence is part of strength. Reflection is part of wisdom. Pay attention to your inner rhythm. When you feel peace, lean into it. When you feel unease, pause. Do not ignore discomfort just because an opportunity appears attractive. Remember, not every open door is assignment. The final call from heaven positioned you for clarity. Protect that clarity fiercely. There will also be moments of self-doubt. Growth can feel lonely at times. You may look around and realize fewer people truly understand your path. That realization can sting, but it also confirms uniqueness. Archangel Michael says uniqueness is not punishment. It is purpose. You were not meant to blend into every environment. As you continue forward, a deeper confidence will begin to root itself inside you. Not loud arrogance, not dramatic declarations, but quiet certainty. The kind that does not need applause, the kind that does not crumble under criticism. This confidence will shape your decisions. You will say no more easily. You will say yes more intentionally. You will waste less time seeking approval. And here is something important. As you grow spiritually visible, gratitude must remain central. Thank God for the small signs. Thank God for the lessons. Thank God for the protection you did not even notice. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. Archangel Michael says a soft heart with strong boundaries is powerful. Soon, another layer of revelation will unfold. You will understand how your obedience not only affects your family and immediate circle but also connects to a wider spiritual movement that is forming quietly across many lives at the same time. You are not alone in this shift. There are others receiving similar calls, others breaking cycles, others stepping into alignment. And together, these individual decisions create a larger wave. Prepare yourself. What is about to be revealed next will show you how your personal yes fits into a collective awakening that heaven has been orchestrating carefully. Awakened one, what you are experiencing is not isolated. It is part of a synchronized stirring happening in many lives at the same time. Archangel Michael says there is a coordinated awakening unfolding quietly across cities, homes, and hearts. Individuals who thought they were alone in their conviction are discovering they were part of a divine pattern all along. Your final call from heaven was personal, but it was never private in its impact. Across different places, people are choosing integrity over convenience. They are stepping away from compromise. They are breaking silent agreements with fear. And just like you, they felt an unusual urgency around the season. That is not coincidence. That is orchestration. Heaven moves in waves. One obedient heart sends a ripple. Many obedient hearts create momentum. And momentum creates atmosphere. Atmosphere shapes culture. Culture influences generations. What began as your quiet decision is now connected to something far larger than you imagined. Archangel Michael says, when individuals align simultaneously, strongholds weaken collectively. Have you noticed how certain conversations around you are shifting? Topics that once seemed ignored are now surfacing. Truths that were hidden are being exposed gently. People are asking deeper questions. That is part of the awakening. But with awakening comes division. Not everyone will respond positively to clarity. Some prefer comfort over truth. Some resist change because it threatens familiarity. Do not let their resistance shake your resolve. Your responsibility is alignment, not approval. There may be moments when you feel the tension of standing apart from popular opinion. When you choose integrity in a space that normalizes compromise, you will stand out. That standing out is not arrogance. It is evidence of transformation. Archangel Michael says, do not shrink to fit into spaces you have outgrown. The final call from heaven prepared you for this moment. It strengthened your backbone. It sharpened your discernment. It reminded you that obedience sometimes isolates before it multiplies. And multiplication is coming. As more people respond to their own call, you will begin to recognize one another. Not necessarily through labels, but through spirit. Conversations will feel different. Connections will feel deeper. There will be a shared hunger for growth and truth. Guard those connections carefully. Not every association is destiny, but some are divine appointments. When you meet people who challenge you to grow, who speak life without flattery, who hold you accountable without condemnation, recognize the gift. These are companions for the next stretch of your journey. Archangel Michael says unity among the aligned creates spiritual reinforcement. However, remain wise. Do not chase belonging so desperately that you ignore red flags. Alignment does not eliminate discernment. Test what feels good against what feels peaceful. Peace remains your compass. There is also an expansion happening within you. Ideas you once dismissed are resurfacing with clarity. Dreams you buried are reappearing with confidence. This is not imagination running wild. It is potential resurfacing now that fear has loosened its grip. You may feel drawn toward learning something new, starting something small, speaking up where you once stayed silent. These impulses are part of the awakening. Move carefully, but move faithfully. Archangel Michael says faith without movement eventually weakens. Movement does not mean reckless action. It means intentional steps aligned with conviction. You will also notice greater sensitivity to injustice and dishonesty. Situations that once seemed tolerable may now feel unacceptable. This is part of your sharpened awareness. Do not become bitter. Channel that awareness into constructive response. Speak truth calmly. Act with integrity consistently. Your influence is forming quietly. Even if your audience is small, your consistency is loud in the spirit. Heaven measures faithfulness differently than the world measures success. What appears small in public may be monumental in the unseen realm. And now, let this sink deeply into your heart. You are not just responding to a message. You are participating in a movement of alignment. Your obedience adds weight to a collective shift that heaven has long prepared. If this message resonates with your spirit, if you feel the awakening within you and sense that you are part of something larger, then respond in faith. Type "I stand aligned" in the comments as a declaration of your position. Blessing code 2882 is being activated over those who choose courage in this hour. As this awakening spreads, understand that supporting this message is not about elevating a platform. It is about fueling a fire that is lighting other hearts. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil into a lamp that guides others through their final call. Scripture declares that when you give, it returns pressed down and overflowing. This is not theory. It is spiritual law. I sense some of you saying within, I want to help carry this light. The desire is divine invitation. Do not ignore it. As you give, may open doors meet you. May unseen protection increase around your household. May the courage you activate here multiply in your own life. Step into this moment boldly. Seal your alignment with action and watch heaven respond to your obedience. You are not alone. You are aligned. And what is forming next will reveal the deeper assignment attached to your name. Anointed listener, as this awakening expands around you, another truth must now be revealed. Alignment is not only about what you step into, but also about what you must guard against as you rise. Archangel Michael says whenever heaven advances someone into deeper purpose, subtle tests of character follow closely behind. You have already faced obvious battles, temptations that were clear, patterns that were familiar. But now the challenges will be more refined. They will not always look wrong on the surface. They may even appear beneficial. That is why discernment must remain active. The final call from heaven positioned you for influence. Influence attracts attention, and attention can become a trap if not handled carefully. There may be moments when people begin to praise your growth. They may admire your strength. They may comment on how different you seem. Accept encouragement with gratitude, but do not let it inflate your ego. Pride is subtle. It whispers, "You did this yourself." But you know the truth. It was grace. It was correction. It was mercy that redirected you. Archangel Michael says humility is the shield that protects promotion. If you guard your humility, your elevation will remain stable. If you abandon it, instability will creep in quietly. Stay aware of your dependence on God. Continue praying even when things feel smooth. Continue seeking wisdom even when you feel confident. Here is also the test of distraction. As momentum builds in your life, opportunities may multiply. Invitations, ideas, responsibilities. Some will be aligned. Others will simply be noise. Do not mistake activity for progress. Busyness can feel productive while secretly draining your focus. Pause before committing. Ask yourself whether each new opportunity strengthens your assignment or scatters your energy. Archangel Michael says clarity must guide capacity. Just because you can handle something does not mean you are called to carry it. This stage requires discipline of attention. Guard your mind from comparison. You may look at others who appear further ahead and feel momentarily behind. But comparison is a thief of gratitude. Your journey has its own timing. The final call you received was tailored to you. Trust that your pace is intentional. You may also experience moments of fatigue. Growth consumes energy. Transformation stretches your emotional muscles. Rest without guilt. Rest is not weakness. It is wisdom. Even warriors pause to regain strength. Archangel Michael stands as both protector and reminder. He reminds you that spiritual battles are not always loud. Sometimes they are fought in thoughts, attitudes, and choices no one else sees. Guard your inner world. If resentment tries to re-enter, confront it quickly. If impatience grows, slow yourself down. If insecurity whispers again, speak truth aloud. The authority you gain through alignment must be exercised regularly. Authority unused weakens. There is also something beautiful forming beneath this disciplined season. A deeper joy. Not the loud excitement of new beginnings, but the steady satisfaction of knowing you are walking correctly. The joy will not depend on external validation. It will rise quietly from within. Archangel Michael says this is the joy of alignment. It cannot be manufactured. It cannot be faked. It grows from obedience sustained over time. When you feel it, protect it. Do not expose your sacred peace to unnecessary conflict. Choose your battles wisely. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. As you continue forward, you will notice that certain doors begin closing naturally. Places you once frequented may no longer feel comfortable. Conversations that once entertained you may now feel empty. This is not loss. It is refinement. Trust the refinement. Your circle may become smaller, but it will grow stronger. Depth will replace noise. And in that smaller, stronger space, your purpose will breathe more freely. The final call from heaven was not a dramatic ending. It was a strategic redirection. And now, as your character stabilizes and your discernment sharpens, you are being prepared for a visible shift. Something tangible is approaching. A confirmation. A breakthrough. A moment where what has been happening internally becomes visible externally. It may come through unexpected favor. It may come through a long-awaited answer. It may come through clarity that resolves confusion you have carried for years. Stay patient. Archangel Michael says timing is precise. Do not rush the unveiling. Continue guarding your humility. Continue protecting your peace. Continue walking steadily. Because what is about to manifest will require the maturity you are currently building. And in the next revelation, you will understand how to steward that manifestation wisely so it does not overwhelm you but strengthens you instead. Hold your position. The visible shift is closer than you think. Determined one. The visible shift you have been sensing is no longer distant. It is forming at the edge of your current reality. Archangel Michael says what hath been built in the unseen is preparing to step into form. But before it does, there is one final instruction you must understand clearly. Stewardship determines sustainability. You prayed for change. You responded to the final call from heaven. You broke cycles. You guarded your humility. Now something tangible is approaching. It may look like an answered prayer. It may appear as restored peace in a relationship. It may show up as a financial opportunity, a new role, or a sudden breakthrough in clarity. When it arrives, your response must remain anchored in discipline. Excitement is natural, but do not let excitement erase wisdom. Archangel Michael says blessings mishandled can become burdens. That is why your character was refined before the manifestation appeared. You are not being rewarded randomly. You are being entrusted intentionally. There will be a temptation to announce everything immediately, to share every detail, to celebrate loudly before roots deepen. Be cautious. Protect what is new until it stabilizes. Not every victory needs an audience in its early stages. Guard your testimonies wisely. Silence is not secrecy. It is protection. As this visible shift unfolds, responsibilities may increase. More eyes on you. More expectations around you. More reliance upon you. Do not allow pressure to harden your heart. Stay soft before God. Continue praying privately. Continue examining your motives. Archangel Michael says promotion without prayer creates imbalance. You have come too far to drift now. The final call from heaven positioned you at the threshold of influence. Now influence must be carried with integrity. When decisions become larger, return to the same simplicity that guided you on May 1st. Ask for peace. Wait for clarity. Move with intention. There may also be resistance that surfaces precisely because you are stepping forward visibly. Do not panic. Opposition often increases briefly before it dissolves completely. Remain calm. You already withdrew agreement from fear. Do not re-engage with it now. Remember who you were before this shift. Remember the prayers you whispered in private. Gratitude will keep your heart aligned as success begins to take shape. And pause with me for a moment. If you have been walking through this entire journey with me, if these revelations have sharpened your spirit and strengthened your courage, then engage with this message right now. Like this video so others standing at their own turning point can receive clarity. Share it with someone who is on the edge of breakthrough. Comment what visible shift you are believing for. Your interaction is not small. It expands the reach of this awakening. Subscribe if you have not already, because this is not a one-time message. This is an unfolding journey. Join the membership if you feel called to stand consistently in alignment here. When you support this space, you are helping more souls hear their final call from heaven. And hold on, because what I am about to reveal next will prepare you for the responsibility attached to the breakthrough itself. Now listen carefully. When manifestation arrives, temptation to relax spiritually often follows. Many people pray intensely in the waiting but grow casual in the receiving. Do not let that happen to you. The habits that sustain you in preparation must remain in possession. Archangel Michael says consistency after blessing is greater than passion before blessing. Keep guarding your mind. Keep protecting your time. Keep filtering your environment. Growth attracts new relationships. Some will be divine connections. Others may be distractions disguised as opportunity. Discernment must remain active. There is also a test of generosity approaching. When increase enters your life, how you handle it matters deeply. Whether it is financial increase, influence, or peace, choose to remain generous. Generosity keeps your heart open. It prevents blessing from turning into pride. The visible shift is not the finish line. It is confirmation that alignment works. You will look back at the day you answered the final call and realize everything shifted because you chose obedience over comfort. That memory will strengthen you during future decisions. You now know what alignment produces. Do not grow complacent. The next revelation will prepare you for long-term impact. Not just a moment of breakthrough, but a sustained season of purpose. What is forming now has the potential to influence others more deeply than you currently understand. Stay alert. Stay grateful. Stay disciplined. Because what comes next will determine not only how you receive the blessing, but how you multiply it. Faithful guardian of your own destiny, now we approach the layer that many never reach. Breakthrough is one thing. Sustaining impact is another. Archangel Michael says you are no longer simply responding to a call. You are becoming a carrier of it. When heaven releases a final call and you answer it, your life shifts from reaction to responsibility. You are no longer just seeking direction. You are modeling it. And whether you realize it or not, someone is watching your consistency. This is not about pressure. It is about awareness. There are people in your environment who may never openly admit it, but they draw strength from your steadiness. They observe how you handle stress. They notice how you respond to conflict. They pay attention to how you manage growth. Your private obedience has begun to produce public influence. Archangel Michael says influence is not proven by volume. It is proven by stability. The visible shift that has begun forming in your life will now require long-term stewardship. It is no longer about short bursts of motivation. It is about rhythm. Sustainable rhythm. Prayer must remain part of your routine, not just part of crisis. Gratitude must remain consistent, not occasional. There will be seasons ahead where excitement fades and discipline carries you forward. Those are the seasons that determine depth. When emotions are high, anyone can feel strong. But when emotions settle and routine begins, character is revealed. Guard your routine carefully. Small daily decisions will shape your future more than dramatic one-time actions. Continue choosing integrity in conversations. Continue choosing honesty in private thoughts. Continue choosing patience when irritation tries to rise. Archangel Michael says your next level is built on ordinary faithfulness. There may also be moments when you feel misunderstood. Growth often separates you from old perceptions. People who once defined you by past mistakes may struggle to adjust to your transformation. Do not argue for validation. Let time reveal your consistency. Silence can be powerful. You do not need to defend every rumor. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding. Stay anchored. Those who truly matter will see your fruit over time. There is also a warning at this stage. Do not attempt to carry what is not assigned to you. As your strength increases, others may try to place their responsibilities on your shoulders. Compassion does not mean overextension. You are not called to fix everyone. Discern where to invest your energy. Archangel Michael says boundaries protect purpose. When you overextend yourself, you dilute your effectiveness. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to rest without apology. Learn to delegate when necessary. You may also feel a deeper hunger for knowledge now, a desire to understand Scripture more clearly, a pull toward wisdom. Follow that hunger. It is preparation. Heaven equips those it intends to use for long-term impact. The final call from heaven was the ignition. This season is the building of structure around that fire. Fire without structure burns out. Structure without fire becomes cold routine. You are learning to carry both. Balance will be essential. As influence grows, remain accountable. Invite trusted voices to speak into your life. Do not isolate yourself in your strength. Even the strongest warriors remain connected to counsel. Archangel Michael stands as protector, but you must remain teachable among people as well. Remember your origin. Remember the day you felt the urgency, attention, of Gideon. Let that memory keep you humble. You were not chosen because you were flawless. You were chosen because you were willing. Willingness must continue. There will be new crossroads in the future, not identical to May 1st, but similar in intensity. When they arrive, you will recognize the pattern. You will feel the familiar stirring of decision, and you will respond more quickly because you now understand the cost of delay. That is growth. You are becoming someone who does not ignore divine nudges, someone who listens closely, someone who acts decisively. That identity will shape your future more than any single event. And now, as we move toward the final layer of this message, prepare your heart. The last revelation will seal everything you have heard. It will call you into a posture of long-term obedience and declare what heaven has now assigned over your life. Stand steady. The conclusion will not only confirm your journey, it will commission you. Beloved warrior, we have arrived at the sealing of this message. What began as a warning has become a commissioning. What started as a final call from heaven has transformed into a divine assignment over your life. Archangel Michael says the moment you answered that call, heaven did not simply record your obedience. It rewrote your trajectory. May 1st was not just a date. It was a doorway. You stepped through it when you chose alignment over delay. You stepped through it when you withdrew agreement from cycles that weakened you. You stepped through it when you decided that comfort would no longer outrank conviction. Now hear this clearly. You are no longer standing at the edge of change. You are standing inside of it. Archangel Michael declares that your name hath been marked with responsibility in the unseen realm. Not responsibility that crushes you, but responsibility that crowns you. You have been trusted with awareness. You have been trusted with discernment. You have been trusted with influence. And trust from heaven is sacred. From this day forward, you will notice something different in your spirit. A quicker sensitivity to right and wrong. A deeper discomfort when compromise tries to return. A stronger boldness when truth needs to be spoken. This is not personality change. This is spiritual authority stabilizing. But authority must be guarded. You will face future decisions that test whether this transformation was temporary or permanent. In those moments, remember what it felt like to almost miss your appointed time. Remember the urgency that shook you. Remember the clarity that followed obedience. Let that memory anchor you. Archangel Michael says you are being called into long-term faithfulness. Not a temporary surge of passion, but a sustained rhythm of obedience. There will be days that feel ordinary. Days without dramatic revelation. Days where routine seems unremarkable. Do not underestimate those days. Destiny is built in ordinary faithfulness. Continue praying even when you are not in crisis. Continue choosing integrity even when no one is watching. Continue guarding your peace even when chaos invites you back. Your future impact depends more on consistency than intensity. There will also be increase in clarity, increase in opportunity, increase in responsibility. When it comes, receive it with gratitude, not pride. Remember that everything you now steward began with a simple yes. Keep saying yes. Archangel Michael stands as witness to your commitment. He stands not only as protector but as reminder. Reminder that obedience activates acceleration. Reminder that humility protects promotion. Reminder that surrender invites strength. And now this final declaration must be spoken over you. You are no longer waiting for heaven's call. You are living it. Walk boldly. Speak wisely. Rest confidently. And when fear attempts to whisper again, answer it with memory. You have already crossed the threshold once. You know how to do it again. If this entire journey has confirmed what your spirit already sensed, if you know that May 1st marked a true shift in your life, then seal it openly. Type "I accept my assignment" in the comments as a declaration of long-term obedience. Blessing code 5115 is now activated over those who choose to walk faithfully beyond the moment. Now listen closely as we close. This message was never about views. It was about voices awakening. It was about souls recognizing their appointed hour. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into a harvest of awakenings. The word declares, those who sow in righteousness will reap a sure reward. That is not ancient history. It is a living promise spoken over you now. I sense some of you saying, I want to help carry this call to others. A desire is divine alignment moving you into action. When you give, you become part of every breakthrough that happens through these messages. As you release your seed, may heaven release multiplied favor over your household. May provision meet you before pressure does. May open doors greet you in unexpected places. Do not hesitate. Act as one who understands timing. Sow as one who recognizes divine moments. Seal your obedience with generosity and watch how God responds with increase. This was your final call from heaven. And now, you walk in it.